let's read another story that's very old. This book was published a long time ago in 1940 and again in 1947. Do the math on that. This book is called Caps for Sale. Once there was a peddler who sold caps, but he was not like an ordinary peddler carrying his wares on his back. He carried them on top of his head. You see that big tall stack of caps? First, he had on his own checked cap, then a bunch of gray caps, then a bunch of brown caps, then a bunch of blue caps, and on the very top, a bunch of red caps. He walked up and down the streets, holding himself very straight so as not to upset the caps. As he went along, he called, "Caps, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." Now that might sound like a very not expensive cap, but way back in 1940, that might have been how much they really cost. One morning, he couldn't sell any caps. He walked up the street, he walked down the street calling, "Caps, caps for sale." But nobody wanted any caps that morning. Nobody wanted even a red cap. He began to feel very hungry, but he had no money for lunch. "I think I'll go for a walk in the country," he said, and he walked out of town slowly, so as not to upset his caps. In this case, the word upset means to make them fall down, to upset the pile. He walked for a long time until he came to a great big tree. "That's a nice place for a rest," he thought, and he sat down very slowly under the tree. He leaned back little by little against the tree trunk so as not to disturb the caps on his head. Again, disturb means not to mess them up, make them fall down. Then he put his hand to feel if they were straight. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. They were all there, so he went to sleep. He slept for a long time. When he woke up, he was refreshed and rested. Oh, what do you notice about that picture? Look close. He was refreshed and rested. But before standing up, he felt with his hand to make sure his caps were in the right place. All he felt was his own checked cap. He looked to the right of him, no caps. He looked to the left of him, no caps. He looked in back of him, no caps. He looked behind the tree, no caps. He's looking everywhere, but they're not there. Then he looked up into the tree, and what do you think he saw? On every branch sat a monkey. On every monkey was a gray or a brown or a blue or a red cap. The peddler looked at the monkeys looked at the peddler. He didn't know what to do. Finally, he spoke to them. "You monkeys, you," he said, shaking a finger at them, "you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their fingers back at him and said, "Zzz, zzz, zzz." They don't look like they're going to give them back, do they? This made the peddler angry, so he shook both hands at them and said, "You monkeys, you give me back my caps." But the monkeys only shook their hands back at him and said, "Zzz, zzz, zzz." Now he felt quite angry. He stamped his foot and he said, "You monkeys, you better give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped their feet back at him and said, "Zzz, zzz, zzz." By this time, the peddler was really very, very angry. He stamped both his feet and shouted, "You monkeys, you must give me back my caps." But the monkeys only stamped both their feet back at him and said, "Zit, zit, zit." At last, he became so angry that he pulled off his own cap and threw it on the ground and began to walk away. But each monkey pulled off his cap and all the gray caps and all the brown caps and all the blue caps and all the red caps came flying down out of the tree. It's another story of copying, just like the Stephanie's Ponytail book. So the peddler picked up his caps and he put them on his head. First his own checked cap, then the gray caps, then the brown caps, then the blue caps, then the red caps on the very top. And slowly, slowly, he walked back to town calling, "Caps for sale, caps for sale, 50 cents a cap." It's a funny story, isn't it? Losing all of his hats to the monkeys. And then when he got so mad that he threw down his own cap, they all threw down their caps too. I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope you're ready for bed. I hope you're sleepy and you've gotten some exercise today and run around. We miss you at school and can't wait till we can be together again. Stay well. Good night.